America is full of forgotten, creepy, abandoned hotels, and Texas is certainly no exception. Today, we're going to cover the top 10 abandoned hotels that can be found strewn far and wide across the Lone Star State. Number 10. Abandoned Waterwood Resort at Livingston, Texas. Near the beautiful shores of Lake Livingston, Texas, lie the crumbling ruins of a now partially abandoned golfing resort known as the Waterwood National Country Club. In 1974, this sprawling 8,000-acre development opened its doors for the first time. In its prime, recreational amenities included an 18-hole golf course, marina, conference center, several swimming pools, and a park. But it was the National Golf Course that was the main attraction, and its famous Hole 14 was once even listed on the 2009 Dallas Morning News as one of the top 18 holes in Texas. Waterwood has hosted 2 national golfing championships as well as the PGA qualifying school in 1981. For various reasons, however, the resort has gone downhill over the last few decades. Today, long gone are the clubhouse lunches, dining rooms, lounge area for cocktails, conference center, bar, swimming pools, zipline, horse stables, and the tennis, basketball, and shuffleboard courts. All that's left now are whispers and echoes of its glorious past. Number 9. Hotel Viggo at Hebbronville, Texas. Hotel Viggo was built by C.F. Luke in 1915 for the owner, Viggo Kohler, to accommodate businessmen, ranch hands, and area travelers. Not long after it opened, the hotel served as a stronghold when area ranchers feared an attack by Pancho Villa's men. As a result of the town's oil boom, a south wing had to be added in 1924 to accommodate more guests. Today, the hotel structure may be abandoned and crumbling, but it was still awarded a historical marker from the state of Texas. Number 8. Hotel Ozona at Ozona, Texas. Hotel Ozona was built around 1893 in the small town of Ozona, Texas. From its early days, it provided lodging for teachers, visiting athletic teams, and travelers. During the period between 1919 and 1921, it boarded geologists and developers that were seeking to profit from the now significant oil fields of Crockett County. It's said to have been abandoned around the 1940s and now sits ominously vacant, having become the subject of sinister rumors and urban legends. Number 7. Bender Hotel at Laredo, Texas. The Bender Hotel, also known as Antiguo Hotel, was founded in 1913, and some people say that it was Laredo's first ever hotel. The U-shaped 3-story building had more than 50 rooms and an impressive front balcony. A 1926 postcard pictures the Bender as a local landmark in full splendor. However, after being neglected by a string of owners, this hotel was abandoned in the last decades of the 20th century. This historic downtown hotel is now closed indefinitely due to a permanent injunction that a judge granted against Bender Hotel on May 31st of 2017 after the Laredo Fire Department complained that the property poses a hazard for any potential occupants. Number 6. Hot Wells Hotel at San Antonio, Texas. The Hot Wells Hotel at San Antonio, Texas used to be a big deal. During its glory days, it was frequented by the rich and famous, including President Theodore Roosevelt, Tom Mix, Will Rogers, and Charlie Chaplin. From 1894 to the early 1920s, the Hot Wells Hotel served as a spa, hotel, bathhouse, and health resort along the San Antonio River in the south side of San Antonio, Texas. In 1923, Hot Wells was sold to a Christian Science group for the establishment of a school, which burned down 2 years later. The facility then became a tourist camp, trailer park, and a bar and restaurant before it faded away in the early 1970s. The ruins of the Hot Wells Hotel sat vacant and crumbling for decades, until it was gradually restored and turned into a beautiful public park on April 30th of 2019. Number 5. Downtown Days Inn at Houston, Texas. On the south side of downtown Houston sits a dilapidated, abandoned skyscraper that has changed its name, roles, and ownership several times throughout its troubled history. It's known by many as the abandoned Days Inn at downtown Houston, but its rich history includes so much more than that. The building originally opened in 1972 as a Holiday Inn. At this stage, the hotel had 600 rooms, enough to be touted as the largest Holiday Inn in the continental United States. Later, it became a Days Inn. Then, in 1993, the building was purchased by a nonprofit organization created by Beatles guru Maharishi Mahesh Yogi. It was then renamed Heaven on Earth Inn, with plans to turn part of the building into a transcendental meditation center. In 1998, the building was abandoned. Citing fire hazards and building code violations, authorities ordered residents to vacate what was by then called the Downtown Plaza Hotel, renting primarily to low-income tenants. From then until now, there have been plenty of ideas on what to do with the building, from demolishing it to renovating it into something bigger and better. However, none of the plans has ever materialized. Now, the only tenants here are rodents, the homeless, and urban explorers who risk getting arrested in order to capture thrilling pictures and videos of the building's interior. Number 4. The Baker Hotel at Mineral Wells, Texas. The Baker Hotel opened to the public on November 9th of 1929. Even though it opened mere days after the 1929 stock market crash, the Baker enjoyed immense success throughout the 1930s, largely due to the growing reputation of Mineral Wells as a top-tier health spa destination. Several well-known celebrities stayed as guests at the Baker Hotel during their visits to the city's health spas, including Glenn Miller, Lawrence Welk, Clark Gable, Judy Garland, and future U.S. President Lyndon B. Johnson. It's even rumored by local historians that the legendary outlaws Bonnie and Clyde may have spent a night or two at the Baker. In 1972, the Baker Hotel closed its doors for what many believed was the last time. Indeed, it did sit abandoned in silent exile for decades. However, in 2019, the Baker Hotel Development Partners, LLC, and its affiliates, in conjunction with the City of Mineral Wells, announced plans to fully restore the hotel back to its former glory, featuring 165 rooms as well as amenities, including a spa, convention and business facilities, event ballrooms, and restaurant, coffee shop, and retail options. Work is now underway, and the hotel is expected to be fully restored and back in operation by 2022. Number 3. Aquarena Springs Resort at San Marcos, Texas. Aquarena Springs is a now-closed resort, hotel, and amusement park located in the city of San Marcos, Texas. It was founded in 1951, and it featured a sky ride, an alligator pit, a 220-foot sky spiral that moved vertically above a lake and rotated 360 degrees, glass-bottom boats, and aquatic performances by humans and animals, which could be viewed through the glass of an underwater theater. The amusement park was abandoned in 1994, and its ruins are still crumbling into oblivion up to this day. The hotel closed down as well, but its building has now been converted into an aquarium, and the location still offers rides on the lake in glass-bottom boats, one of the few original activities that has survived the demise of the resort, hotel, and amusement park. Number 2. Palm Suite and Inn at Catarina, Texas. Somewhere in a remote corner of the Texas desert lie the ruins of a forgotten ghost town named Catarina, Texas. The town was founded in the mid to late 1700s and soon grew into a thriving outpost of civilization. In 1926, during this town's heyday, the Catarina Hotel, now also known as the Palm Suite and Inn, was built. As the town's fortunes thrived, so did the hotels. However, for various reasons, the town gradually began to fade away throughout the decades, and therefore, so did the hotel. The Catarina Hotel lodged its last guests in the 1950s before ultimately closing its doors and shuttering its windows. However, in 1997, the hotel saw a temporary comeback when new owners reopened the long-boarded structure for the first time since it had last closed down several decades ago. Unfortunately, the hotel's new life was to be relatively short-lived. In May of 2020, the hotel burned down in a mysterious fire. Investigators were unsure about what started the fire, but the result was a total loss. Now, all that's left of the once glorious Palm Suite and Inn are its charred, crumbling walls, as well as echoes, whispers, and memories of an entire era that literally went up in flames from one day to the next. Number 1. Delta Lake Hotel. Welcome to what is arguably the most sinister and mysterious hotel in Texas. It's been home to rumors, legends, and a grisly discovery. The story of this dark, ominous structure started in 1928, when a businessman named W.A. Harding purchased 53,000 acres in what would later become Monte Alto, with plans to make a fortune in real estate in the undeveloped area. Construction of the mansion began in 1929, when Harding realized he needed a place to house potential buyers in the lap of luxury while they considered the value of the land. He took them on a tour of the valley and across the border, a selling point in his brochure which described the so-called primitive customs of Mexico. But like many others, Harding was hit by the Great Depression in the 1930s, and he could no longer support the property. Therefore, he was forced to give it up to the American Life Insurance Company, from whom he had gotten the loan. Since then, the property has had several owners, none of whom have made any changes according to Hidalgo County records. Most recently, the derelict property was the site of a grisly discovery. In 2007, owner Laura Doyle was found dead, shot at least 5 times and burnt beyond recognition. Her son, Christopher Hughes, then 17, was convicted of the murder. By the time Doyle was reported missing, Hughes had used her credit cards to purchase more than $7,000 worth of video games and accessories, and upgrades for his car. Before her body was discovered by her eldest son, Randy Langston, Hughes had continued to live in a trailer on the property with his mother's decomposing corpse just a few yards away. Hughes is still in prison up to this date. He will not be eligible for parole until 2031, when he's 40 years old. If the walls of these ruins could talk, what other secrets, mysteries, and unspeakable tragedies would they tell us about? We may just never find out. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider subscribing and giving a thumbs up. Is there something I missed? Please feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. Please keep in mind that this is not a comprehensive list of all of the abandoned hotels in Texas, just the top 10, based on their level of abandonment, how old they are, their history, and their current condition. In addition, I'd like to offer special thanks to several photographers and videographers who made this video possible by making their pictures and video footage available for the making of this video, including American DECAY, the modern frontiersman, and blogger and photographer Damaris, aka Starry-Eyed Cosmo Girl. The links to all channels will be provided in the description below the video. Thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next one.